everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2020 Shelby GT 500. This GT 500 is being provided to us by Ultimate Collision and RV. They actually purchased this car, so I'm going to include a link to their website in the description below. The name's pretty self-explanatory. Obviously they deal with vehicle repairs, so definitely check them out. Let's get right into the video. Under the hood, we have a supercharged 5.2 liter V8 that goes through a 7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission. Now, power outputs are 760 horsepower and then 625 pound-feet of torque, with fuel economy being 12 around town and then 18 on the highway. Didn't think you guys would expect too much out of the fuel economy. And then what's awesome is they are hand built, so you guys can see the name of the person that actually built the engine, which is really, really cool. But yeah, the whole bay, absolutely crazy. Let's go over the front end on the GT 500. So first and foremost, I love this venting here at the top of the hood, and you can see that it's finished in gloss black. It's just a really cool look with the venting. And then this one does have the stripe package. So these ones are the vinyl stripes. You can get the stripes actually painted onto the car. It's ridiculously expensive though to get them painted on, so I just recommend doing the vinyl stripes like what this one has, because I mean really you can't tell the difference. You've got the cool hood pins, which make it extremely difficult to open up the hood, but again, really neat. And obviously it keeps the hood like really latched down when you're going at high speeds. And then you've got the massive Cobra logo there at the front end. And then I do have the lights popped on so you guys can see the projector bulbs with little kind of like fish scale lights off there to the side. And then just look at all of the aero here at the front end. Like, this splitter is absolutely massive, and here off to the side as well. And you can see just all of the venting, obviously, to keep that engine cool, because, well, I mean, it's a pretty big engine to keep cool with that supercharger. But yeah, the front end of this is super aggressive, and I absolutely love it. Coming to the side here, you guys will notice that this one does have the carbon fiber package. Now, in terms of the size of the wheels and the tires, you've got 20-inch wheels in the front and in the back. Now, the tires are 305 millimeter in the front, then they're 315s for the rear. And then you can see the carbon fiber weave on the wheels looks crazy. And then look at how massive the Brembo brakes are here on the front. I mean, those rotors are literally bigger than most people's wheels, which is insane. Got the cool Cobra logo there on the side, and then you've got more of the aero here on the side, and again, it just makes it look so much more aggressive. I think this side part right here, that like is like signature for the S550 generation Mustang. Everything in the front end looks completely different. Even the fenders, I mean, you can see, especially from this angle right here, just how much wider it is there on the side. But let's head to the back. Now, here's the key fob for the 500, and I mean, it just looks like any other key fob initially. You're like, oh well, this is just any other Ford key. And then you look on the back and you've got the Cobra there, and you're like, okay, this thing definitely does mean business. Now, there are a couple functions. You've got the unlock, the lock, the remote start, and then the release for the trunk. And yes, I will get you a clip of the exhaust in just a little bit, but we're gonna pop the trunk first because, well, it's kind of crazy with the spoiler. So just press that twice, and then that is what will unlatch the trunk. And then all you have to do is just come back here very carefully. Don't want to touch the paint, and you kind of open it all the way up. And what's crazy is the wing. Just look at the space. I mean, it's got like an okay amount of space, but it's still kind of ridiculous. Now, coming here into the trunk, you guys will notice that you've got this bag. I'm pretty sure it's just the car cover which is in that bag. You've got a fix-a-flat kit under here. You will notice that obviously you can't fold down the rear seats because, well, it has no rear seats. Other than that, it's a pretty normal Mustang trunk, and we're not going to focus on it too much. Now let's finish things up with the rear, and yes, we've got to go over the massive rear spoiler because we're always about that big wang gang, just saying. And this is probably the biggest spoiler I have seen on a production car in my life. All carbon fiber. I think this unit, to buy it aftermarket, it's like $9,000 just for the wing. And then each individual wheel that you guys saw earlier, these are like $5 grand a pop. So yeah, all the carbon fiber, just crazy. The wing is massive. Obviously love the sequential lights with the Mustang. Then you got the Cobra logo, and then you got the exhaust tips. And if you guys want to see what this looks like compared to a 350, well, there's a 350 right next to us, and you can see the exhaust tips are a little bit different. And just like the difference in the back end, like, it's just night and day. Like, this car looks so much more aggressive compared to the 350. Coming up to the front, obviously you got keyless entry, all the normal modern amenities, and it's even got blind spot monitoring. It's a safe car, just saying. But opening it up, you guys can see the door door panel right here, and this is where you'll notice the theme with the white interior. So first off, you got a little strip right there, and you've got the contrasted stitching, and then this is all padded right here. You've got the unlock and the lock, and then the controls for the windows. Now, these seats are absolutely insane. I love them so much. So you've got the nice white leather with the stitching, and then you got the black leather around, and then you've got the Alcantara here all throughout the center. And I like these seats way more than the 350s because you actually get leather bolsters instead of just the cloth. But yeah, these Recaros, they're super aggressive, really insane. They are manually adjustable, but it's because they're Recaros. The pedals, they did a really good job. I really like the look of those. And then you guys will notice the carbon fiber up here, and then you've got a little light control right there. The massive paddle shifters, and there's one more look before we actually pop in. Oh man, I don't think I've been this excited for a startup before, but here we go. And that's even in the quiet setting. That is ridiculous, but yeah, everything will come to life. Now here is the steering wheel in the 500. Obviously you've got full Alcantara and then a little bit of leather at the bottom of the steering wheel. Those massive magnesium paddles that just feel really nice to the touch, and they look really cool. I mean, just completely reminds me of the new Ford GT. And then you got your like regular stuff, right? Your voice command controls, you got controls for the phone, navigation, and then over here is some drive mode controls, which we'll get over into in just a second next to the little cruise control. And then you've got your little volume select as well. But yeah, the whole steering wheel looks really cool. Now here in the gauge cluster, things are actually really neat. So you obviously have that center menu, which will just show you different bits of information on the car. Nothing crazy there. Now the crazy stuff is all the stuff you can customize. So with the suspension, you've got your normal suspension, your sports suspension that you can go through, and then with your steering modes, you've got your normal steering and your sports steering, and then your comfort steering that you can go through, and obviously they'll change how heavy or how light the steering is. Now if you switch into different drive modes, so let's say that we go into sport mode and then into track mode, this actually changes things up, because now, okay, yes, we understand that we've got to look at the owner's manual. Anyways, now that we're in there, it actually lets us go into track suspension as well. And so it lets you change the different suspensions you can go to depending on the mode. But if you guys notice with the gauge cluster, the drive mode actually changes what the gauge cluster looks like. So you can see as I go into each individual drive mode, it'll change what the actual gauge cluster looks like with the RPMs. And I just think that's so cool. Ford has done such a good job just with the gauge cluster with the readout on it. And I'd have to say my favorite after looking at all of these is between sport and track. I think I like track a little bit more. Sport's kind of cool because it has that like curved design that's like a curved road, but track, I mean, that looks absolutely insane, super futuristic. I think that's my favorite one. Now we've got all of the carbon fiber right up here, and then obviously you've got the little oil pressure and then the oil temperature gauge, which, I mean, in a new car, those really aren't things that you're gonna be looking at all that often. Maybe occasionally if you're going on a track day or something like that, but it's just cool that they do that, kind of like what the old school cars had. And then coming down to the infotainment system, this is just Ford's newest version of the infotainment system, so it's really easy to use. Touch response time on it, it's pretty solid. There's nothing too crazy on this, to be honest. It's just similar to what you get in any other Ford. So it's nice that you can get like a crazy race car, but you can still get a good infotainment system. And if you guys were wondering the view out the backup camera, well, there's a view at the backup camera. You don't see anything crazy, and you can even zoom in. So like if you need to tow a trailer with your GT500, you can line up right in the middle with the receiver hitch, just saying. Now down below here is pretty normal. You've got like your normal analog controls to the radio, your dual zone climate controls, and it's cool that a race car has dual zone climate. Then you've got your drive mode select, which you can only go one way, so you have to press it up. And then I didn't go over the exhaust, so this is pretty cool. You can actually customize what exhaust mode you're in. So right now we're in the track mode. I can go from track to quiet, to normal, to sport. And obviously when I do the exhaust clip, I'll go through all of the different exhaust modes, but you can definitely hear a difference just from idle between the sound quality, and the track is definitely the loudest. Now, yes, we have to go over the transmission dial, and honestly, there's nothing else in this area, so you can't get it confused with the radio control, but this dial feels very nice when you actually go through these settings, and you press that in to do the manual function if you want to shift your gears yourself with the little paddles. There's a parking brake right next to it, but I actually just really like the feel of this dial. Couple of cup holders right here, and then you've got the center console, which you can see that storage space is actually pretty good with the USB. So this car's got good practical stuff to it, even though it's a crazy race car. And I love just the random white accents. And well, just had to show you that because there's no seats in the back. Hi, lack of seats. Now, if owning a GT500 wasn't enough, well, you can flex on your passengers by showing them your chassis number after you show them under the hood and how your engine was hand built and how their Toyota Camry was built by a robot. Just saying. But yeah, it's so cool that they have that. And then the carbon fiber trim above, really nice. And then with the glove box here, you can see that it's got a normal glove box, nothing is changed. And again, I just love this interior. You've got like nice stitching, carbon fiber all along the dash. Like the interior in here, especially with the seats, everything just looks so nice. So here's our window sticker for the GT 500. And by the way, Ford, instead of calling this the track pack, you need to call it the Big Wang package. Big Wang package, just saying. Obviously, exterior is iconic silver, and then you've got the ebony leather Recaro seats with what it says are gray accents. Honestly, in person, it looks more white than gray. Maybe I'm colorblind. I'm probably just colorblind, guys, but it looks more white than gray to me. Maybe I don't know what's happening. But if you guys want to freeze the frame on any aspect of the window sticker, feel free to do that so you can see all of the equipment that this GT 500 comes with and all the information that it has. And then here's the optional equipment. Obviously the carbon fiber track package, almost $20,000. I think it's money well spent because again, each of those individual wheels is about $5,000. That wing is about $9,000. So you're getting all this crazy carbon fiber tech for a lot less compared to what it actually costs. So I think it's a good value. And you can see the stripe right there, $1,000. Better than the $10,000 that you have to pay if you get the painted stripe, which I think is just absolutely ridiculous. But you can see here, total MSRP, $97,685. Obviously, if you guys have looked these up for sale, the market value is significantly higher than that, and that's just because it's really hard to get your hands on one of these, especially with a track pack. Like, chances are you're not going to see anyone else with this car if you buy it. And again, fuel economy, rest in peace. Well, yeah, but pretty cool car. This is the quiet mode. Sport? Oh, this is the normal mode. And then this is the sport mode, which, I mean, all these are extremely loud, just saying. And then finally we've got the track mode. Sounds really good. That is pretty much going to sum things up on our video with the GT 500. And something that I did forget to show you guys when I was doing the walk around on the car is I just noticed this, which I should have noticed this earlier, but the roof is completely gloss black, which I think is a really nice addition to this car because I think it just pulls it all together. And it's cool how you go from like the stripes to the gloss black here with the roof and then stripes again. It's just interesting. It's different from what most people do in cars. But anyways, if you're stopping for the first time, please subscribe and I'll see all of you in the next video.